Saturday edition of Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath, and again joined by Ian Lenton. And Ian, great to have you back for this edition of Box Seat. And what do you make of Clint Johnson-Porter on Wednesday at Belmont Park?
Oh, he's just, we love seeing these apprentices come through, and he's just a star in the rise, isn't he? He has all the techniques there. Look, he is getting good rides. He's riding for the leading stable in the state, but he's just making the most of his opportunities. So if he keeps going, he will certainly outride his claim in no time.
When you look at this racing card on Saturday at Belmont Park, it is thin in some races, but geez, there's some good battles.
I wanted to assess how much prize money was on for offer, and I wanted to see how much of that Durant, Pike and Grant Williams will clean up, because you'd say it's the lion's share.
Yep, it certainly looks a very interesting card and a big day for those people that you mentioned there. Let's take a look at the conditions that we're going to be faced with. We'll be clearing showers with 20 degrees, some westerly winds as well. The movable rail is out 9 metres and the track is expected to be a good 3. Now, we talked about some of these battles. We are going to see them first up in the West Speed 3-year-old plate over 1,650 metres with no respect to the other horses. It looks a 2-horse race, Kiara Orakudu and Simi Sizzle.
Yeah, look, I got a glance at what your best bet of the day was, and I think we're going to add more confusion than anything with this, but this is the beauty of this race. Although it's a 5-horse field, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there was 12 horses in this field or not, because the challenge between the 1 and the 2 are going to be fantastic.
It certainly is going to be a very good battle. Let's take a look at Kiara Orakudu winning last start. It was held up for a little while, able to get out late.
Deep at the top of the running with Witness in court directly on his inside. At the 300 Gold Club was headed by Headlander Boy. Kiora Kutu searching for a run behind those. Sporting Image and London Line letting down. Headlander Boy had headed Gold Club. Kiora Kutu winding up now. So's London Line. Kiora Kutu. London Line will fight it out, but Kiora Kutu getting really busy in the final stages, and a great city day.
A length and a half. So looking at those form lines, it looks very nice indeed, but has drawn one again and will be in a sticky situation at one point.
Had to take note of Adam Durant's comments on Wednesday at Belmont Park 2, saying that this could be the best horse he's ever had. That sends shivers down everyone's spines.
Yeah, I missed that, and maybe if I'd heard that, I would have had Kiora Kudu on top. But I think it's bumping into a very sharp one. I haven't seen a better bred horse in WA than the 2, Simi Sizzle. And what it did last start, from second last on the bend to win like it did, I just think this horse has the X factor. And I think with Pike outside of perhaps Joe Azzopardi, he'll have that momentum, and I think that's the edge that he'll need. You
mentioned the breeding about this horse last time in Box Seat, and you're pretty confident and got the job done, as we heard, by 2 lengths that day as well. What's impressive with this horse is the first win was just a hard-fought win out in front. This win, as we mentioned then, on the rail, had to do so much work, but that last 100 metres over that 1,400 was sensational.
Yeah, and it just seems to me this horse, the further it goes, the better it will get. So the 1,650 metres here I view as a major positive. And as well as the jockey at the moment, in the stable, it's just such an awesome combination.
I don't think we need to go into it much more. Let's take a look at selections. I'm going to be tipping number 1, Kiora Orakudu, from number 2, Simi Sizzle, number 4, Juicing Carrots, and number 3, Headlander Boy.
I'm 2, Simi Sizzle, from number 1, Kiora Orakudu, from number 4, Juicing Carrots, and the 5, Dark Devotion.
Race number 2 at Belmont Park. It is Australia race number 4 for our Singapore viewers. It's a West Speed 3-year-old handicap over the 1,000 metres, and again really looking forward to this race, Ian, because we see a horse like Bombs Away, which was very impressive first up, but then a horse returning, Mystic May, which I know you have a huge opinion of from what we saw first in its first campaign. Yeah,
well, its run in the Karrakatta Plate was very good. It beat home Showy Chloe, so that kind of form lines will certainly come to the fore here, but there is a horse here that can run point to point in electric time, and we've only seen one example of that. That is the 2, Bombs Away.
You were very keen on it first up. It was able to salute again for our Box Seat followers. Let's take a look at that win now.
Quarters of a length in front. Running second is Steal the Light. Picks Pride's gone up through along the inside, and then Idyllic Queen down the middle, and deeper out is Planet 9, followed further back by Total Eclipse with 200 left to go though, and Bombs Away dashes clear. It's Bombs Away by 3. Steal the Light, Idyllic Queen are battling out for the minor placings, but it's all Bombs Away, the War Chant Colt. Bombs Away went on.
Awesome time there by Bombs Away. It was the strongest sectional race of the day by some margin, and that was its first ever start at the races. Won by just under 2.5 lengths against what looks like a sharp galloper. Drawn really nicely here, Bombs Away. It looks like the real deal.
I had to laugh at trainer Lindsay Smith after the race. He didn't know that Joseph Azzopardi had hopped off 2 previous winners to get on this horse, and he goes, oh, maybe the horse is a bit better than I first thought, and I think we all saw that on debut. It looks a very nice type.
Yeah, look, the trials it had to work to really get there, and when it did, it looked incredibly impressive, but on race day it drifted significantly. The horse it beat was, I think, close to was almost favourite at one point. So I think Bombs Away just really took that trial form to the races and even looked better.
David Harrison loves to make our form lines a little bit harder and our job a little bit harder as well to try and find that winner. And again, we come in with no trial here for Mystic May. We've seen this with a few of Harrison's runners. The ones that he thinks he has potential with, he doesn't mind just bringing it straight to the track, but sometimes it means they're just short and needing that run. And that was my only concern with Mystic Maid.
Yeah, he's quite open when he says that. He'll normally be honest and say perhaps it's just a fitness run, but look, he certainly can win first up fresh, and Mystic Maid, look, her best form is fantastic, but up to the 56 kilograms, that's 1.5 kilograms that she's carried. So that was the edge why I went to Bombs Away.
We have to mention Williams, Pike, and of course the Peters colours here. What about Dark Love?
Well, this was nominated for Northern Midweek, and I think they probably just looked at this race and thought we can win this. It's the half to Cohort and the full to Dark Mist, so incredibly well bred, drawn really nicely. Look, the trials were good enough, but as we know, that doesn't count when it comes to this stable.
Well, let's take a look at selections then for race number 2. I'm going to be tipping number 2, Bombs Away, from number 1, Mystic Maid, number 7, Wings of Hope, and number 8, Dark Love.
I am 2, Bombs Away on top from number 1, Mystic Maid, the 8, Dark Love, and number 4, Loopy's Ladies.
Race number 3 at Belmont Park is over the 1,200 metres. And again, Ian, a really interesting race because a few horses returning at first up. There's some that are second up like Blitzum Sunday, and then a horse that we're still expecting to pull that trigger in Roman Fighter, which did it ugly last start after being slow out of the gates again. But at its best, we're expecting this horse to really kick away.
Yeah, we made comment about that before that last victory. Just waiting for this horse to put in a performance somewhat similar to that. I still think it is capable of a lot more, and in this race it looks like the leader, and in that position would be hard to run down.
Well, that is the replay that we're going to take a look at now, so let's have a look at the last start victory.
Over on the outside by Trey Amici called upon, and they've raced away from Border Scott, one off the wood. Roman Fighter led them by the 250. It snuck 2.5 to 3 clear. Trey Amici reigning on the outside into second placing. Border Scott makes up ground from Jack and Sam, then one off the wood, but Roman Fighter, too good for them, is going to hold them all at bay. Roman Fighter beat Border Scott.
Yeah, excellent performance there by Roman Fighter, and looks like being on speed, if they can get there, is the desired position for this galloper. We'll have a good sight through one off the wood in the previous race, so that might give us a bit more confidence for this galloper.
Another horse that has shown so much promise is number 9, Mississippian here, and we saw that win last start, did it comfortably by 2 lengths. Has promised so much. Now with the Williams stable, just seem to go up that next gear.
Yeah, barrier is awkward, so perhaps their tactics are dictated by where they will be, but I think this horse, when it puts it together, as you mentioned, its performances in 1,200 metre races have been very good. It was only beaten 2 lengths in the Placid Arc, so if it performs like that, I think it'd be very hard to beat.
Number 10, Chasing Chaos, has been in really good form as well. Very consistent in the Steve Wool stable flying, as is Sean McGruddy.
Yeah, Sean McGruddy's going super at the moment. It's great to see. And Chasing Chaos, look, last start was probably a bit too far back, but I think drawn where it is, it could probably sit a little bit closer.
One to take note of as well is Prohurst Express, was scratched from Wednesday for this race car. Jordan Turner to ride as well, so just the 58 kilos. Has a really good record at this distance and in this ratings race.
Yeah, you look at the psychology of the stable, they probably thought we can win this race, and it's drawn nicely. The claim of Jordan Turner, it has the ability to win this.
Well, let's take a look at selections then for race number 3. I'm going to be tipping at number 6, Roman Fighter, from number 9, Mississippian, number 10, Chasing Chaos, and number 2, Prohurst Express.
Same Quinella as you, but the other way around, with the 9 Mississippian on top from 6 Roman Fighter, number 3 Sage Geronimo, and the 10 Chasing Chaos.
Race 4 at Belmont Park, it is Perth. Race number 8 for our Singapore viewers over the 1,200 metres. And an interesting race because there's a few midweek horses here, but Ian, there's also one that broke your heart last start, and that is Rare Delight. It beat Jolly Moss at a very nice price, and you were on the second horse that day.
Yeah, look, Rare Delight got an absolute cushy ride home, and that was the only reason it won. No, I jest. Look, the stable and jockey, they're just the absolute key to racing at the moment. It comes into with a career low weight, Rare Delight, drawn nicely here. It can replicate what it did last start. It was super.
I'm going to put you through the pain again. Let's have a look at the replay.
Jolly Moss cornered well. Jolly Moss at the top of the straight, 1.5 lengths to Sasso Circus. Pike's hard at work on Rare Delight. Then Amorio, an illusion of light. Jolly Moss in front inside the 200. 1.5 lengths clear. Rare Delight on the inside is starting to knuckle down, and coming through is Sasso Circus. Jolly Moss, Rare Delight, Pike lifting. Willing, Rare Delight, Jolly Moss, Rare Delight, bobbing finish.
Yeah, perfect ride by William Pike. Got the head down at the right moment. It's bumping up against Illusion of Light, which was also in that photo, but still has to break that 1,100 metre hoodoo. Hasn't won above that distance
Number
yet.
1, Bayella, for trainer Gary Hitchcock, Emma Stent to ride. This horse has been so consistent, and she's just shown so much fight in recent runs.
Yeah, my only concern with this horse is the amount of times it's been scratched between its last performance, but look, you look at face value on the form and the class. Bayella, with the run it's likely to get, is the one to beat, in my opinion.
Number 3, it says, I had a really big knock on this first up. You didn't mind it in your 4, and you were completely right with that. If you have a look at the replay again, missed the kick, was held up the entire way down the straight, and hasn't missed by that much, really. Identical runs to almost a horse like a Rebel Queen if it had have got out. So although those form lines were quite good, with the 3 kilo claim, just the 54 kilos here, I think certainly in the mix.
Yeah, I think the closing sectional was actually the best in the race. So coming into this with the low weight, 54 kilograms, you'd have to give Azez some kind of chance.
One that I really liked as well from the trial is number 11, Secret Minx, for trainer Adam Durant, Joseph Azzopardi to ride. Just thought this horse wasn't asked of too much and looked a pretty nice performance.
Yeah, we look at its form. It defeated Infatuated, which is a Saturday winner, and then it went to the Breeders' Plate and wasn't disgraced, and that was only its second run. So coming to a new stable, leading stable, Adam Durant, great barrier, low weight, why not?
Well, let's take a look at selections then, and I'm going to be tipping number 11, Secret Minx. From number 3, it says number 1, Bayella, and number 6, Rare Delight.
I'm 1 Bayella on top from 6 Rare Delight, number 11 Secret Minx, and the 9 Classy Cat.